Cannot accept it. Hello, I am in the middle of a divorce after being married for 16 years and together for a little of 17 years. I am struggling with the reason why she wanted the divorce. We have 2 kids, a 19-year-old that I adopted from her when he was 2 and a 12-year-old that we have together. We had our ups and downs just like everyone else, but we always came through it together. From bankruptcy to moving to another state to start over and moving back again, we always made it together. We had talks over the last couple years that things needed to start changing for both of us, but neither one of us did anything. We have always gotten along great, loved being with each other and doing things together. That all changed at the first of the year when we ran into more money problems. We were in such a rut in our day-to-day lives that it was the same thing every day. But I thought they were starting to get better. I got promoted at work, we were saving money, and we were a little more affectionate with each other. Then April hit and my world ended that month. She went on 2 business trips in back-to-back weeks and she wanted us not to talk and give each other space. So, I agreed, but when she came back on the 26th, which was my birthday, she asked for a divorce. I was shocked and stunned. That was the last thing I thought she would ask for. She told me that she still cared for me and loved me, but not in that way anymore. It took me a few days to settle down from the shock, but we don't have the money for one of us to find a place that quick, so we stayed in the same house in different rooms. Then I pulled the phone records and found out she has been calling and texting a coworker since the 4th of April to the time of 60 to 70 texts a day. I confronted her about it and of course she lied and said they were just friends. She said she had been thinking about a divorce for years but just got the balls to do it now. I finally got her to admit she had an affair a couple of days ago, but she still thinks she did nothing wrong, and the young kid is so mad at her he doesn't want to see her, and she is not trying to see him either. None of this makes any sense to me, and she is still seeing the other man who is married with 2 kids of his own, and she acts like the last 17 years has never happened. My comment: I think you need to find out who the AP is and tell his wife ASAP. Do not tell your wife you are doing this before you do. Try to get something solid, texts, a recording of her telling you about it, etc., to prove to the OM's wife. This is typical bullcrap that cheaters do. She didn't do anything wrong. Seriously. Wow, she has no idea how many people she has hurt. Very sorry that you are going through this. OP responds: I have filed for divorce and she has been served, with a court date later this month. She actually had the guts to tell me why I didn't tell her I was going to file. I told her that it sucks getting surprised. So now we are in a fight over our young son because she did not want to give up custodial rights. Even though she is only a show mom, she has already moved out of the school district and my son lives with me. My wife only sees him twice a week right now and wants joint custody, but he doesn't want to be at her place or go over there right now. She asked for the divorce at the end of April and I found out about the affair on the 7th of May. I told her to leave that night, but she had been looking for a place since she asked for it. I did contact the other guy's wife and left a message with her to call me. She texted back and told me to worry about my family and she would handle hers and not to contact her again. As for letting their work know, I thought about sending an email because my wife is in HR and does payroll, so she would be fired on the spot, but I'm thinking of both my kids and I don't want them to know that I caused their mom to lose her job and she would spin it that way. I do have proof through a friend of my wife's who is feeding me info on what she has done. She is sending me screenshots of their text messages when they talk to each other about what she has done. She does not like what my wife has done but is trying to get me all the info she can for me. My thing is, I cannot understand how someone can just not care about the last 16 years and what they do to their kids. That is what I am having a hard time dealing with. Alright, I need some advice on how to stop thinking about my soon-to-be ex. I am having trouble trying to get through the days without think what she is doing or who she is talking to. I used to know everything she did, or I thought, but now it's stuck in my head all day who she is messaging at 4 and 5 in the morning. And having to see her every couple of days because of the kids' sports doesn't help either. I know she is struggling with money, but every time I see her, she looks really good and together, which makes me very upset. I have tried for the last couple of weeks to start running, but that doesn't seem to help. I am seeing a counselor, but that's not working either. I talk to friends and that seems to help at that moment, but the rage and anger of what and how she did things comes back. I just thought that she would struggle just as much as I have, but that isn't the case. If anyone has any ideas, I'm all ears because I'm tired of feeling this way and don't want to keep going like I am. Just needing to vent. Today was not a good day for me. All the thoughts and emotions just started at once today and I could not stop my mind from spinning. I do a lot of driving and when those thoughts get in my head it's really hard to get them out. With my soon-to-be ex getting a lawyer and she is pretty much telling her to get more active in my son's life, so she is texting me more and asking if she can pick him up and have him for a Saturday. But she won't tell me what they are going to do or what time she is going to pick him up or drop him off. She said she doesn't know what they are going to do yet, which I find hard to believe that you wouldn't have something in mind yet. The thoughts of why she did this and would I take her back? Then I wouldn't take her back, and then how can I even think about that after what she has done to me and my son, and it just goes round and round in my head. It really sucks for me because I don't have a lot of friends and the ones I do have are all married with kids and are busy with their kids' events and their own lives. With me having my son just about all the time, I have not been able to get out much if at all, and even though my son is 12, I can't leave him by himself with what has been going on, and when we are out together, he doesn't really want to stay out long. So, it's been hard adjusting to all of this, but it seems to help me write down what's been going on. Just needed to get things off my chest and try and breathe a little easier. What should I do when she drops him off and she comes to the door and starts talking about what was going on at practice? Should I say thanks, and if there is anything I need to know, text me, or do I stand there till she is done and say okay and shut the door? These are things I don't know what to do with. For her, it's like we have been divorced for 10 years and we are friends now. She has no idea what she is putting all of us through. It's like nothing has changed for her except she no longer lives with us. Very strange. She has 20 days to respond, and I have not heard anything about the papers from her, but she is now taking an interest to my son, asking him to go do things with her and taking him out for lunch in the past week. I have found out that she has broken the affair at the end of May. I have taken some of you guys' advice and have not been in contact with her except for my son, and I only communicate through text. I have told her I do not want to see her or talk to her, which has been fine until the past few days. She is texting me more about our son and about things in the house that aren't really important. I am taking my son to a counselor today, and she has known about it for a couple of weeks but just started to get involved with it on the past few days. She is being a lot nicer than she usually is, and it's freaking me out a little bit. She even called me yesterday to tell me she dropped our son off and what they talked about, and offered her free counselor session to me through her work's insurance because mine has run out. I do not know if she has a lawyer yet, but she goes out of town at the end of the week for work and won't be back till Friday of next week, which would only give her a day to respond to the papers. If someone can let me know what she is trying to do, I would appreciate it. I don't know if she is trying to manipulate me into dropping the child support and sole custody, or she has come down from her high from the affair. I was told the affair was over by a friend of hers that has been telling me everything she has been doing. She sends me the screenshots of their conversations, so I will have my wife's name on the text. She told her that she called it off because she didn't want to be the other women, but said she would wait for his decision on his marriage. That was 14 days ago that she did that. But my older son, who lives with her, told me she spun it to him that they were just friends and were talking, and he believes her even though I have the phone records and a voice recording of her admitting she had an affair. He also told me that her mom is paying for all the bills they have: rent, car, and cell, cable, you name it, even her lawyer, and she is getting garnished from her check for a credit card I didn't even know about. I'm still on the bank account so I can see what they are doing, and she is stupid to use the card for everything. They go out to eat 3 times a day, and statements from women's clothing stores and nail salons that her mom has no idea they are doing. She even used the card right before I found out about the affair at a hotel in the city, and movie tickets and dinner, so she is or was paying for all of their stuff they were doing together. If they are still seeing each other, then they deserve one another. She makes me sick every time I see her. Just had to vent a little. I have started the 180 about a week ago, but I'm struggling with still thinking about her. I have told her that I don't want to see or talk to her, and when she picks up and drops my son off, that she needs to stay in the car. He is old enough to get in and out of the house by himself. I didn't even talk to her at my son's counseling session this past Tuesday, which she showed up for. Shocker. We sat there in the waiting room, which she sat next to me with a set in between us for the entire session until it was over, and didn't say a word to each other. But it's the little things that upset me, like the fake smiles and the clothes she wears. She never wore things like that when we were together. But anyway, now I cannot get her out of my head. I see and hear her all the time. I don't know if it's because I'm in the house we shared for 10 years or it's my mind playing tricks on me, but it seems to be getting worse, not better. Well, I finally got my soon-to-be XW response to the papers I served her with. Not much is surprising. She wants joint custody and no child support, but she declined to go to counseling with our son and denied some of the debt we have, saying she doesn't have enough information on it, which all the debt is hers anyway. The one thing I thought was strange was that she wanted her name to be changed in the divorce, which I get, but not right after it. I don't think my son will understand that she has a different last name than he does so soon. I don't think she is thinking at all about our son, and the only reason she wants it changed is to get away from any more debt issues and not to be reminded of what she did to us every time someone says her name. I'm going to try and stick to my guns on the full custody and child support because my son doesn't want to go a week on and a week off. He already told me he doesn't like that at all, and if he doesn't want to go over there, then he shouldn't have too. But she has told me before that it's her week, then she will make home come over, which I don't think is right, especially if she doesn't want to go to counseling with him and help him through it. I wish the infidelity would help me in the proceeding, but my lawyer says it doesn't matter in our state. But I don't want my son to raise by a liar and a cheater, and it should matter if they did that to a judge. On what to do about my 12-year-old son. We talked for a very long time last night about the divorce. He is very angry towards his mother for what's happening, and he doesn't even know she had an affair. All he knows is she said it was her fault and she left. He let his anger and frustration show last night. I do have him in IC, but he has only been a couple of times. He knows my STBX wants 50-50 custody, but he wants nothing to do with her. He said the only reason he goes to her place is to make her feel good, but he doesn't want to have to go over there. He doesn't want to be made to go over there, and he asked me to fight for sole custody last night. Now my question is, do I let the lawyers handle it, or do I try and reason with my STBX, who has shown that she really doesn't care what he wants? She said if it's her tone with him, then he will be with her. She is not showing any compassion for him at all, and she usually gets what she wants, but I have to stand my ground for him on this one. I have never seen him this angry before. I have tried to get him to see her more, but she really hasn't shown interest in him until I served her, and since then she takes him to lunch a couple times and asked him to go do something with her during the day on the weekend, but it is usually with another one of her family members like her mom, and then they go buy him things at the store. Her mom has already promised him a video game he wants in December. So, they are trying to buy him his emotions, but he knows a lot more than what they think he does. I talked to him a few times about his mom and that he needs to see her, but he needs time, and with the court day next week he doesn't have enough. She really doesn't know the effect she has caused him, and she doesn't care either. She is too selfish to see anything anyone else's way. So hopefully this will wake her up so she can see what she has done to everybody. I had to talk to my STBX today about our son, and it started out fine, but then it changed to talk of the court date next Tuesday. She wants to work things out in a room with the lawyers and doesn't want to go to the judge. I think she is just trying to manipulate me into giving her what she wants. I'm willing to listen, but I'm not going to roll over either. I told her I would consider what she wants if she would answer one question. I asked her what the OM was giving her that I was not giving her. She said it was not the time to have this discussion. I told her you owe me at least that answer for what you have caused. She agreed that she owed me that, but is not willing to tell me at this time. She said we would discuss it at another time and she would tell me. I don't think she really will. I think she is just trying to push all of it to the side. I told her we need to talk about a lot of things and that she needs to be honest with me because she keeps deflecting all my questions. She said she doesn't answer them because of how mad I get, but I don't get mad. I get angry when she says things like I can't confirm nor deny, then says that I won't like the answer, but she won't tell me the answer. So, my question is, do you all think she will ever tell me the answers to these things, or is she just playing me? The temp order will be done Tuesday, so I don't know if she is just waiting. She has no second thought of giving up the last 17 years. We go to court Tuesday for the temp order. She wanted to negotiate beforehand, but I told her that I am not backing down from full custody. She has done a horrible job with our son since she moved out, and I think she is scared of what the judge might do, but I don't care about her, only my son. A friend told me that she removed the AP from her FB page this weekend for whatever that's worth. I don't know if the lawyer told her to do it or not, but it doesn't matter. I just hope that the judge will see it in my favor. And I'm going to send the other man's wife a certified letter after the court date to make sure she knows, because I found out that she is pregnant with their third kid. I think she should know if she already doesn't. I will post again after the court date. They saw each other at work and at lunch and right after work. I don't have proof to show the court. I have messages from a friend of hers that she told everything to. I could call her to court, but my lawyer hasn't said anything like that to me. He told me the affair doesn't matter here. I will look into the hand delivery. Just got done with court. I asked for full custody and child support, did not get everything I wanted. Ended up with joint custody with me being primary, and she has visitation Friday through Sunday every other weekend and 2 days every other week, but no overnight stay. She has to go to counseling with our son and will be reevaluated in 45 days. She also has to pay for his extra outside activities to make up for the debt I'm taking. I don't think I ended up too bad, but we'll have to wait and see. The best part about it was she broke down in front of her lawyer when she had to sign the papers. She was going crazy, threw her hands all over the place, and her lawyer had to take her to another room to calm her down. That was the first time I have seen her cry at all, even when she asked for the divorce. Then I walked out after signing it with my lawyer while she was still crying to hers. Just had the court date yesterday, and now she has to set up counseling sessions with her and my son. My question is, does it get easier to let go and not have control or a say in what is going on between her and my son? She is in control of the sessions and his activities, which I have talked to the team manager a couple of times to keep me informed, but my XW and them are good friends, so I don't get all the info all the time. I don't know if anyone has had this kind of situation or not, and is there anything I can do? I do not like to be kept in the dark and find things out last minute. I guess I will just have to get used to it over time. I don't know why it bothers me so bad, but we had court Tuesday, and a friend of mine from her work texted me and told me that she locked herself in her office with the AP for a few hours because she was so upset about court. So, I now know that the affair is not over because she ran right to him and cried her eyes out to him because she didn't get what he told she was going to get from the divorce. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by this and thinking it was over. They just kept it on the low, and she is showing who she really is. She also skipped our son's counseling session Wednesday to switch bedrooms with our oldest son because he has a door to outside in his room and the judge ruled them to switch. She couldn't even take an hour to meet his counselor, and this is the second week she missed it. I don't know if she will get through the 45 days of counseling the court ordered for her and our son. I just wish her to run back to him didn't make me feel so angry again. I did call the OM wife, just don't know if he intercepted it or not. On the advice from my lawyer, I haven't contacted her work yet, and I have a letter written for the OM wife that I will send when it's final. I have stopped trying to understand, and I have limited to just text from her about our son. I am an IC and so is he. I have him majority of the time. She only has him every other weekend right now. She is to go to counseling with him and be reevaluated in 45 days, but she only has 3 sessions scheduled. So, I'm hoping that is not enough and she screws up so I can be awarded full custody. My lawyer told me not to do anything that can come back to me until it's finalized. I do plan on letting their work know and whatever family members don't know, but I'm not going to jeopardize anything until I'm sure I can't get what I want and what my son wants. I try and avoid her at his soccer games and practice as much as I can. She always ends up interrupting my conversation with other parents, so I just walk away and go off by myself. If that's the way she wants to be, she can. I don't need or want the drama anymore, and if the parents don't see what she is doing, then that's on them. She can try and spin it in her favor with them all she wants, but the people that need to know, they already know the truth. My comment: your son, just let him know you love him and you will be there for him, but that you will not lie to him. If he chooses to believe his mom's lies, there is nothing you can do but wait and pray. Story 2. An ongoing situation. My wife of 6 years abruptly told me she needed a trial separation and moved out 2 weeks ago. She is currently living with a friend but plans to move into an apartment with a short-term lease, 6 months, in the coming weeks. We have started counseling weekly and have completed 2 sessions. My wife and I have suffered through infertility issues for the last 4 years. We have gone through 2 rounds of IVF, had surgery, and have very recently started with homeopathy in a last-ditch effort to avoid another surgery. In addition to having difficulty conceiving, every successful conception has ended in an early miscarriage. 5. I know that this has been incredibly difficult on my wife, but we have always had an amazing friendship and we've always been there for each other. During IVF, she asked if it would be okay for her to either not work or seek part-time employment. We are in excellent financial shape, and I told her it would not be a problem and hoped that the reduction of stress would improve our chances. This turned out to be a serious mistake. She ended up spending a lot of time at home and quickly got depressed. During this time, I worked to help her find part-time work that would be fulfilling and encouraged her to start her own bookkeeping business. While difficult, she did eventually find some short-term work and started a business and now has a handful of clients. Eventually, the short-term work ended though, and the handful of clients only kept her busy about 1 day a week. To avoid sitting at home, she decided to start playing Pokémon Go. She met new friends and seemed to really be enjoying this new hobby. Eventually though, it started to cut into our time together. Initially, I was patient, because she would always come home happy and apologize for staying out too late or say, "I know I'm spending too much time doing this." A few days before my birthday, I told her that I felt like I was losing her. Our time together is getting rarer and rarer, and when you are home you are always on your phone chatting with your Pokémon friends. She responded by saying that I was just jealous, which I was, and that she needed this to cope with everything that we had been through over the last few years. My birthday came, and she got me some very thoughtful gifts. A card that said, "Thank you for being the best part of my life, you are my best friend," and gave me an all-around awesome day. The next day I came home with flowers, and just wanted to thank her for being so good to me on my birthday. I could tell something was wrong when I came home. Just before we went to bed I asked if anything was wrong, and that she could tell me anything. She became very angry and yelled, "Oh my God, you are suffocating me." I apologized, but I was hurt. Shortly after that she said we need to separate. The next morning, I assumed we would talk it out and everything would be fine. Instead, she told me that she no longer felt like she had an identity and needed time to find herself, because she didn't just want to be my wife, and she wasn't sure if she still loved me. She packed a bag and moved in with a friend. I was devastated but wanted to do anything I could to save our marriage. I scheduled our weekly counseling session, which she accepted, and have tried to stay strong and be supportive. I got our guest bed taken apart and brought boxes down from the attic for her eventual move into the apartment. Our latest counseling session went really well. We were practically completing each other's sentences as we talked about our good times together and the adversity that we've overcome in our marriage. At the end, the therapist asked my wife if she would consider going on a date with me, and the mood changed quickly. She said no, and when I asked why, she said, "I just don't want to. I'm getting an apartment, finding a job, and starting to feel good. I'm trying to stay hopeful and optimistic." She is going to counseling. She is maintaining some limited contact with me, and she doesn't want my parents to know. She even came to a recent family dinner. I'm having a difficult time though. It was so unexpected. I feel lost, but I'm staying strong for her. I have not begged her to stay. I fully understand that this is not a time for me to emasculate myself in her eyes. I appreciate the blunt feedback. She is not using our joint checking or savings for any of this. She insisted on starting her own checking account. Now, I'm not going to deny that she may have met someone. However, our bonding never stopped. I've always been a pleaser and that pleasing never stopped. All that said, I could see her potentially starting an emotional relationship to fill a perceived gap. I've spoken with the therapist about my concerns and she has advised me to bring them up in our next counseling session. Again, I appreciate the advice. I'd love to hear a female perspective about the situation, but for now I'm going to take things slow. I think another man has been poking her man. Sorry, had to. But seriously, you need to start getting her out of your life. You only have 6 years, and no kids. That is a blessing in disguise. Your wife sees you as a failure for herself and family aspirations. She is damaged goods. You would need to spend a lot of money on IC, not MC, and also be competing with another guy. Sorry, way too many red flags and her actions speak more than words. But they also did the trick as well. Thanks for being my best friend. She has got some serious problems and the wife you married long gone, I'm afraid. Do you agree with me? Hit that bell, tell me down below, and I will see you in the next one.